Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
So I'm in a very serious relationship. I know you are in a very serious relationship. And I don't mean Holly over here or just Holly. We're all in a very serious relationship. It's can be sometimes very close. I'm talking about your relationship with food. Yeah, we actually do have a relationship with food, whether you know it or not. And she is an eating psychology coach and joins us again. She's the owner of Holly's Holistic Health. Holly Agnew is back on the program. Hi, Holly.
Hi, how are you today?
I'm good. Great to have you back here. And along with everything you do in terms of coaching people, and that's with food, psychology, and the whole connection there, you also are an advocate for a line of products called doTERRA. And we're going to dig into that today. These are natural products that can really, really make a difference in your life, eating and otherwise. And people wonder, I don't know if I want to, plunk down money for that. Does it work? Well, we're going to address all of that, but specifically how much you're saving when you look at prescriptions and doctor visits, right?
When I worked on an ambulance, I picked up a patient one time who literally had a grocery bag full of prescriptions that she took to the hospital. And I looked at that and I'm like, really? I mean, don't get me wrong, prescriptions have their place. I mean, if I'm having a heart attack, give me whatever you need to give me to keep me on this earth. But, prescriptions are way overprescribed in a lot of cases. Yeah. And they don't address the problem, they address the symptom. And that's the big thing. They're not getting down to the root cause. If you don't get to the root cause, then you're not going to fix the problem.
1,000,000,000%. And I just want to back you up for just a moment here in saying that my best friend since elementary school is an EMT. And so he's on the ambulance every single day. And like you, knows the background of many meds, medical conditions. I'll throw a question to him. He's got the answer. No, he's not an official doctor, but he knows many, many different meds and the good and bad. He's even looked at a med on my shelf and said to me, "Why are you taking this?" I'm like, "Well, he gave it to me because I don't know any better." He's like, "Do you realize what this does and what it's really for?" Well, they gave it to me. So it's not always, when you prescribe something, maybe not always the best route to go, right?
Right. Yeah, I used to work in a heart catheterization lab as well. And when I worked there, I was in the medical establishment. I was like, give me a pill, I'll be good. Whatever I got going on, just give me a pill for it. I'm good.
Yep.
Until they stopped working. I got really sick. I was put on a boatload of different antibiotics and then they quit working on me. So I was looking for alternatives. And when I started looking at the alternatives and started actually looking at what I was putting in my body, like all those prescriptions, they have lots of side effects. Have you ever read one of the things that comes with your prescription and it says, oh, it can do this, 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 and this, or listen to an ad on TV? The whole thing is like, and it can do listen to those sometimes.
Oh my gosh. And they rattle them off so fast. And the disclaimer at the end is longer than the actual commercial.
Right.
It's crazy.
Yeah. So when I was looking at all that stuff, I'm thinking, well, there's got to be something else out there. And my dad was always a big proponent of trying something natural. And I used to think he was a little, cuckoo upstairs because he wanted something natural. But if you look back at the history of where the meds we use now came from,
mm-hmm.
They came from natural substances. They're not from natural substances now, but like essential oils, they've been around for thousands of years. Different tinctures that are made from the plants and, vegetation that's out there. That's been around for thousands of years. And that's where they started making the pharmaceutical stuff. And then they ventured away from that when they figured a way to make it cheaper.
Yeah. It's so true. I mean, when you think of the meds, where the majority of them did start with plants, that's where it was. And then they're synthetically created, after that. So it's so true. So why wouldn't you want to start with the natural products, see if that alleviates some of the challenges that you have? And if not, okay, then look toward medication.
Right. And what I find kind of funny and strange at the same time is like when I talk to people about essential oils, they're like, well, let me go research that, which is fine. But they'll go to their doctor, they'll give them a prescription. They do no research on what that doctor has given them and what that stuff can do to their body. You know, my grandson was put on a med for ADHD or whatever, and he started having all these side effects. And I told my daughter, I'm like, I looked up the side effects online, and I'm like, look, that's one of the side effects. Take him off that med. Let's use something more natural. And when we did, we got the same effect without the side effects.
Wow. Wow. And in terms of cost, where does it usually sit with products like doTERRA?
Well, essential oils can be pricey. I'll let you know that up front if you get a quality essential oil. But if you look at the bottle, like our bottles, they're 15 mLs. There are 250 drops in that bottle. So not only can that stuff in the bottle be used for one thing, it can be used for a multitude of things.
Mm-hmm.
So like if you have, say, a headache, you're going to go to Excedrin or something like that. And what else can you use Excedrin for?
There you go.
But you can use something like peppermint for head tension. And you can also use that to cool down. You can use it for fragrance. You can use it for, the list is pretty much endless of what you can use it for. And you have 250 drops to use. And
Right.
You're only going to use one drop at a time.
Exactly. Yeah. And when you weigh it out, I mean, even Tylenol, not that cheap. When you however many caplets are in there, 60 caplets. I'm going by memory because I picked them up for my daughter like a week or so ago, and I think it was at least $15, $12, somewhere around there. And to your point, that's all it's used for. That's it. And not the worst thing, in terms of price, but some of the other things. Listen, you go to the doctor, you have, I don't know about you, but I got a copay. When they say, yeah, it only costs $3, I'm like, are you sure? And that's the most rarest situation. Sometimes it's way more than that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and what I don't like is all the side effects that come with it, because that Tylenol that you gave your daughter, that can mess with her stomach. It can mess with her hormones, possibly. There's so many different places in your body that it can affect that the essential oils don't.
Yeah.
Unless they do it in a positive way.
I think, Holly, you nailed it a second ago, that we're all programmed. We go to the doctor and whatever the doctor says is it. That's what I'm taking. Like you said, you usually don't even Google it or double check it. And I have a headache or, I have some pain, whatever it might be. Well, let me go to the pharmacy and pick up that Tylenol. It's like autopilot. That's what I'm supposed to do because that's always what I did. Well, why don't we break the mold of that and maybe look at some of the other ways that you can benefit from natural products?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, when I go to the doctor now, which is very rare, I find out what's going on. Usually, I know kind of have an idea of what's going on anyway, because I do have a medical background.
Yeah.
But if I'm questioning what's going on, I go. Usually, they'll write me a prescription, and they're like, "You're not going to get it filled, are you?" I'm like, "Probably not."
Yeah.
But I go home and I look, like I have an app on my phone that I can look up stuff. And it's pretty cool because it has different things on it. Let me see if I can show it to you real quick. Like it has different health concerns listed.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, like that's just A's. I mean, it goes on and on with different health concerns. I can tap on that and I can find out what oils will help with that. And it gives a list of like 5 to 10 different oils. And it's not saying you have to use all those oils. You pick one that you have, try it. And if it doesn't work, pick another one on the list.
Wow.
Because just like certain drugs might not work on, it might work on you, but not on me. The oils are the same way. You kind of have to use trial and error, but for certain things, there are, tried and true solutions.
Yeah. And to your point, if you get one particular oil and maybe it's not taking care of the one health concern, it will be used for other things. And I love the fact that there's an app.
Right. And there's books too. I mean, I got a ton of books.
Yeah. Wow. Okay. Yeah. And by the way, when you think you're dealing with something, The doctor visit costs you money too. Even if you have
Mhm.
insurance, you got a copay going on there. Minimum typically
Yep.
$25 for the average person. So you're making an investment in that where you could just try the oil first and then know that it can be used for other things at the same time.
Right.
And
Yeah, when I talk to people, I usually try to find out what else they have going on because we have like our 10 most popular oils, and they all come in one kit, and it makes it easy because that way you address so many different things that can be going on in their life, like digestive, breathing, um, immunity, sleep, stress, all the big ones. That one kit addresses all those different things and a whole lot more.
mm, and we're just talking about oils. So there's so many other products that we can, go down the rabbit hole and explore
Yeah.
that are natural. How do you know, like when that one app that you have, is that just for essential oils?
Hmm.
Okay. And doTERRA has other products. Let's say, yeah, I'm hypothetical here, but let's say you're dealing with reflux. Let's say that. And you look at the oils. Can you also find other natural products in that line that can help you out?
Yeah, we have other oils that help with gastric upset, and we have other products. We have something that's kind of like Tums. We have digestive products. Uh, we have a thing called Terrazyme that is digestive enzymes that can help. Because we like to think we eat healthy, but in reality, most of us don't. And so those digestive enzymes help to break food down. It's really cool because I did a video on oatmeal, and I put the Terrazyme in with some instant oatmeal, and you could see it digesting it.
Really?
Yeah, and it broke it down. What I used was rolled oats instead of like the instant oats like I wanted, but it broke it down over time.
So
Yeah.
was that a science experiment on your part, or was that, you actually ate that after putting it in there?
Well, no, I was just an experiment. I just wanted to show people that this is what it does in your body.
Right, right. Helps you digest.
Yeah. Yeah. And we have probiotics that help with digestion as well, because your immune health is in your gut, 90, like a huge percentage of it. I think it's like 75 to 90% of your immunity is in your gut.
Hmm.
And if your gut's not healthy, the rest of your body is not going to be healthy. So getting like the good bacteria in there is really important, especially if you've been on something like antibiotics, because antibiotics aren't what's the word, particular about what they kill. They kill the good and the bad.
Yep.
So if you don't put the good stuff back in, your body's going to suffer for it.
Interesting. Now you're an eating psychology coach. And I just want to throw this to you. A friend of mine said, "Hey, sign up for this food service. It's prepared meals that are delivered." And he's doing it. And he's like, "Yeah, they're really healthy. It's good." So I was like, "All right." And refer a friend, get a discount, right? So I go there and I was blown away. I'm thinking that this is going to be good stuff for you. The amount of fat, you got to have fat in your diet. I get it. The amount of sodium. Like I clicked the button to find the meals that had the lower sodium. The lowest sodium meal, like call it dinner, was like 800 milligrams of sodium, the minimum. And like I'm shocked that that stuff is out there and they're calling it healthy, and you're paying for it. What are your thoughts in terms of sodium intake, fat? Anything that you can share with us?
Well, the type of sodium or salt that you use, like I don't use table salt.
Same.
I use pink Himalayan sea salt, and I have a grinder that I actually grind my own stuff with. And the natural salts, not the processed salts, are better for your body because they have the minerals and that kind of thing still in them.
Hmm.
As far as fats, I would stay away from vegetable oils for the most part because they're highly processed, and they have a higher possibility of having glyphosate in it. I don't know if you know what glyphosate is. Think Roundup. That's what our crops are sprayed with. Like
Wow.
farmers have Roundup ready crops like soybeans and corn, and they spray this with it. If you ever ride down like any farming area, you see like a field of corn, no weeds. How's that possible?
Right.
You know, field of soybeans, no weeds or very few weeds, depending on how well they spray. You know, and that they're spraying it with the glyphosate, and that excuse me, that gets in our products, that gets in our food. And as much as they like to say it's not there, it is. They've done testing. If you go to the environmentalworkinggroup.org, you can see the testing that's done on the different things that have glyphosate in them. And even organic stuff can tend to have that, depending on where the organic stuff is grown, because you know, if they spray a field, it doesn't just stay in that box. You know, if there's an organic field across the road, it's going to go across the road too if the wind's blowing in the right direction. And
Wow.
birds can carry it. You know, it's just so pervasive in our society that it's hard to get away from it.
Unbelievable. I'm hearing more and more about Roundup, and it still blows my mind that it's still sold and used in that application. You know, there's
Yeah.
it's unreal. Let's go back real quick to, you said, processed oils. I have a friend who uses coconut oil and
Mhm.
swears by it and says it's healthy and good for you. Have you heard about coconut oil?
Oh yeah, I cook with it all the time.
Do you really?
Yeah, but you need to make sure you get one that's unrefined, because just like the vegetable oils, it can be refined so much that it doesn't have all the good qualities in it.
Okay.
It's high in hyaluronic acid, which is a good thing for skin and metabolism and that kind of thing.
Hmm.
Um, but it also is great just to cook with. I mean, I cook my eggs with it.
Yeah.
If I'm cooking things at higher temperatures, I use avocado oil. And another good oil is olive oil. But you have to be careful with olive oil too, because there's actually an olive oil mafia, if you can believe that. I've done a lot of research in that because I was just like, you got to be kidding me.
Unbelievable.
But yeah, there is. I mean, if you buy an olive oil, you want it to be in a dark glass bottle and first cold pressed.
It's almost like you got to go to the side of a building. Hey, you got the olive oil. Give me the good coconut oil. Huh? And my friend swears by it and uses it for other applications, even on your body. It's that
Yeah,
good. It's safe for you, and yeah, very useful.
yeah. Coconut oil is a big skin oil. I mean, it's very nourishing to your skin, and that's one of the things. We have a thing called fractionated coconut oil, which is liquid coconut oil that
Yes.
we use for a lot of the things that we make. Well, like I do a lot of DIY stuff, so if anything that I'm putting like in a roller bottle or a spray bottle, I
Hmm.
use the fractionated coconut oil.
Yeah. Yeah. And she swears by it. So yeah, thanks for backing that up. Instant feedback, steve@gmail.com. We have Melissa, who's checking in from Camden, New Jersey, and says, how much protein should a meal contain? Is it possible to have too much protein?
Um, I think it is possible to have too much protein at one time because your body can have trouble digesting it. Um, Anywhere from like 8 to 16 ounces of protein is okay. Um, I tend to float more toward quality fats in my diet, because the fats, your body, believe it or not, and this is like contrary to everything I was ever taught in school, fats are good for you. Your body needs fats, not, and I'm not talking like the vegetable oil fats. I'm talking like lard, coconut oil, olive oil, avocado oil,
Hmm.
ghee, butter, you know, all those ones that your grandmother used to cook with.
Right.
Those are actually the good oils
Hmm.
because they have the good fats in them. You need the stuff, your cells need the fat. They need protein too, but they need the fats to do what they do.
You know, I'm gonna confess. I'm gonna confess to my eating psychology coach today that last night I came home late and I was like, all right, let me grab something quick. And I have my friends criticize me because I have a freezer full of just stuff for that. So I reach in, I'm like, and don't nobody judge me here. It was a quick thing, last minute. I'm hungry. It's late. I'm like, all right, I'm gonna have a hot pocket. So I stop. So I reach in and I take it out. And I'm like, all right, it's I know you'll forgive me because it's not the best thing. And I'm like, all right, let me just do this. And the calories weren't that bad, right? And I'm looking like only 10 grams of protein. Now we're talking, it's a 4 cheese hot pocket. I got to believe with all the dairy and everything else in there, we're probably flowing like 21 grams of protein. And I want to have a meal that has a lot of protein. It makes me, I feel better. I last, it instead of just, having all carbs, something that's going to sustain you. And I
Mhm.
just threw it back in the freezer. I'm like, I'm not going to eat that. What's the point? It's garbage as it is, not the best for you, but only 10 grams of protein, plus not even talking about the sodium and everything. So when you start really being mindful of what you're thinking about eating, it really starts coming clear. Like, why am I making this choice? Yeah, we're in a rush, fast food. Okay. Sometimes you just gotta, but then, and somebody told me yesterday that Taco Bell is one of the most healthiest fast foods you can eat. And I'm like, seriously? Taco
I
Bell?
don't think so.
Yeah, I'm not going with that. I would think
No.
Wendy's, loaded with sodium as all fast food is, but I would think, Wendy's grilled chicken sandwich uh, is not the worst thing for you. And, have a salad with that, have a side salad, nothing in it, right? But yeah. And the person said, yeah, well, when you think of it, it's just, ground beef and it's lettuce and tomato. Sour cream is optional. And you got the wrap. It's not, the worst thing. I'm like, yeah, I don't know if that's the healthiest fast food there is. I don't know. That's what I heard. This is literally yesterday.
Yeah, I'm not a big fast food person. Like as I avoid it like the plague as as much as possible, just because most fast foods are engineered to make you want more.
100%.
I mean, they have MSG, which is a flavor enhancer, and it's been linked to like migraines and different um, symptoms, and that just that they engineer it so that you want to come back makes me think, no, I don't want to eat that.
The billions of dollars at stake, they're not messing around. They have mad scientists figuring this
Mhm.
all out. And it's what you're driving down the road, you're kind of hungry and you see the sign. It's like, all right, you don't even know why you're doing it. It's convenient, you're going to eat, but also psychologically, there's a connection to your brain like that. Remember the last time I ate there? You're thinking, that was really good. I don't know why, but it was really good. There's a reason why. There's a reason why.
Yeah.
You know, back in the day,
Yeah.
I don't know if you remember, Burger King used to make beef flavored French fries. They would have a flavoring that mimicked beef, and they didn't tell anybody. They would just sell it like that. Yeah, our all new French fries, and that's what it was. And along with all the sodium and the bad oil and everything in there, they threw that flavoring. It lasted like 2 years, and that's one of the reasons why people would gravitate toward their fries.
Mhm. Yeah, we don't stand a chance against the engineering that's out there, unless we choose not to eat it. I mean, our bodies are just made to love the stuff that they
Mhm.
put in it.
Yeah, yeah.
And if you're not paying attention, they can put a hurting on you.
Well, you know what? As a food psychology coach, when you think of it that way, um, think about comfort food. Why do we gravitate, toward, mac and cheese, which is the number one comfort food? Because it reminds us of happy times, even being a kid. Mom makes you mac and cheese. That's literally the number one. Of course, ice cream's on that list and such. Um, but your mind goes back to a happy time, and same thing with fast food. You were happy when you ate it. Why? Because it's loaded with a bunch of junk, and it made you feel good at the moment, but not after that. Tell everybody your website, and if somebody, two things here, if somebody wants to work with you and or check out some of the doTERRA products and do a little bit of research on that.
My website is www.holliesholistichealth.net, and you need the three W's. And you can reach me at Holly at holliesholistichealth.net, or you can call me at 410-430-6791.
Now I know you have a link to the wellness products, the natural products there. If somebody wants to get back on track, change their eating habits, just literally change their life, that's something that you can absolutely help them out with, right?
Yes. What I don't do is give a diet. Okay. So I don't give, like, here, you're supposed to eat this, and this. I'm going to give you ideas, and it's up to you to implement them.
Got it. Which I think is the best approach anyway, because everybody knows what they like to eat. It's finding what's the healthiest choice within what you like to eat. Like if you told me, Steve, you need omega-3 and you really got to start eating seafood. I'm going to tell you, Holly, I love you, but I'm not into seafood. It's just not my thing. Everybody's
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I work with people to meet them where they are
Mhm.
and to get them where they want to be. So that can be a small gap, or that can be a big gap. A lot of times it's a big gap because they can't figure out what they should be eating in place of what they are eating.
Yep. Well, you're somebody that's always loved helping people, and that continues now in the food capacity and also the natural products. And you walk the walk and talk the talk because you dealt with some issues, right? And
Oh yeah.
found the answers in products like doTERRA. So definitely check out the website. It's hollysHolisticHealth.net. You know what? I remember you said you had a challenge for us. We didn't even get there.
Yes.
Let's go.
Yes. So somebody challenged me to do this. Write down all the illnesses and diseases that you've been diagnosed with over your lifetime.
Mm.
Yeah. My list was rather lengthy because I've had lots of surgeries. And then think back, how much is that related to what you put on or in your body, like the food, hair care, body care, cleaning products, or what you may have come in contact with, like pesticides, herbicides, air fresheners, and make a list of them. And when I made a list for myself, it was rather lengthy. And when I think about the fact that my body is made to heal itself, to maintain homeostasis and a stable internal environment, it amazes me that it can do that. However, it's very difficult for your body to do that if you don't give it what it needs to do so.
Billion%. Your body's amazing, but if you keep kicking it with crazy stuff, and by the way, you said things that you come in contact with, does that also count for toxic people? Because that would be the
Oh yeah. Yep, that can go in there too, because your emotions play a huge part.
Yeah. Yep. And so do you as a eating psychology coach. It's all right there. Yeah.
Yep.
All right. Yeah. All right, people, make a list. Start making that list and start thinking about how you got to where you are or how you got to deal with whatever you put on your list. And once it's staring you in the face, the answers are right there.
Yep.
You don't need a doctor.
Yeah. And when you look at the list, write down your number one challenge. And what is your body telling you? Listen to what your body's telling you and what needs to be addressed. That's the hard part, is listening to your body, because a lot of people, they know what needs to be done. They just don't want to do it.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, everybody has to make that decision for themselves. I'd love to make that decision for a lot of people.
Yeah.
But unless you're willing to do the work.
That's the word. There it is. And you know what? In life, I don't mean this in a negative way, Holly. Everything is work.
Yeah.
Even if you want to play hard, have a great, weekend playing, sports with your friends, whatever it is, there's work involved in that. How to get the sports equipment, how to be there on time, how to, all of that. It's work involved. Sometimes the work is fun. Sometimes it's not so much. But if you want to have a great life, put the work in.
But it'll pay off in the long run.
It absolutely will. Yeah. Check out the website, hollysHolisticHealth.net. I'm going to make that list later today. Maybe next time we get together, I'll reveal my list.
Okay.
We only have a half hour. Holly, great talking with you and appreciate all the info.
Thank you.
Yep. We'll catch you next time. Yep. You too.
All right. Bye-bye.
Are you looking for even more of the podcasts and hosts that you love? The Podcast Business News Network is proud to announce that you now have even more ways to listen live. Check out the MyTuner Radio, online radio box, and Simple Radio apps on iOS and Android, or find us online. Search for Business News Network on mytuner-radio.com or search Podcast Business News Network on streama.com and onlineradiobox.com/US. Take your podcast on the go and don't miss a minute of the action.
Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
For nearly 2,000 severely injured veterans, everyday life has become filled with barriers.
Day-to-day simple tasks can become pretty daunting.
I have to carry my chair up 2 flights of steps or have somebody do it for me.
What scares me the most is just the falling.
When I'm struggling with my house, I think, to have that one great barrier just knocked down, I mean, it's crucial.
Home for Our Troops is a wonderful nonprofit that builds a
mortgage-free, fully adaptive, handicap-accessible house.
And there's no catch.
It'll be our very first home that we've ever owned.
This is a game changer.
This is where your life begins again.
We need you to join us in completing this important mission. Please visit hfotusa.org and help build homes and rebuild lives.
Because of you, everything's going to be okay.